Hi everyone, Sheree here. Today I'm going to be creating a spread for my December daily album using these gorgeous goodies from Kerri Bradford Studio. So I thought I'd just run through what I've got to use here before I start putting it all together. First of all, I've got the pocket page ready to go. It's almost finished. I've got my photo in place. I've got my journaling printed. I just need to add a little bit of stamping at the top here. And I've also got this printed piece. This is from the Holiday Happiness file from Kerri Bradford Studio, and it says there's no place like home for the holidays, which I thought was perfect to go with this little house page that I've got planned. So I've just printed that out onto a plain white piece of cardstock in the 6x4 size, and I've just slipped that into the pocket and stuck a little gold star at the end of that holidays word. So that page is almost finished, just need to do a little bit of stamping. So for this house page, I've got this cute little house which is from the Christmas Village cut file, and what I did was opened it up into my silhouette program and I isolated just one of the houses, and I've enlarged the house so that it's almost the height of my page protector. In hindsight, I'd wish I'd done it just a fraction bigger, but I've got it here now. I'm just going to run with it. So while I still had it open, and after I'd printed it, cut it out using the textured white cardstock, I then flipped the design in my silhouette program and cut one out using this red polka dot paper. So now I've got these two houses. They're a mirror image of each other, and I'll now be able to put them back to back to create a little house page for in my album. So the idea is this page will sit on top of the other one like so, and you'll be able to turn it in the album as its own little page. So I've got some acetate here with little gold stars on it that I'm planning on putting in between the layers, so you'll be able to see stars through the windows and the door there. And because it's, as you can see, I can't punch holes into the side of the house to be able to turn it. So my plan is I've got some just plain acetate which I will put in between the layers and position it so that I can then punch holes in the end of that acetate there, and that will allow me to be able to turn that page in my album. So that's what I've got planned. I've got the Merry stamp set and the Bundle Up stamp set here to use as well. I do have a little wreath already stamped using the Merry stamp set. I've got it stamped in the green with the little red berries there, but I'm thinking I might even do it in gold and emboss it to go onto my white house here. So I'm going to have a play with that as well. So I might just get into it and show you exactly what I've got planned. Hopefully it turns out the way I'm picturing. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'm starting off by working on the back of the red house, and I'm just adding some double-sided tape all the way around the outside of those windows and doors, and the door, sorry. And I'm going to go across the middle and then down the middle as well. So now I just have to remove all those backing pieces, and then I can add that piece of acetate that'll be going in between the two house layers. Okay, almost all done, and now we can add the acetate. So I've decided to add the gold side of the acetate so that it's visible from the red side of the house. So from the front, which is the white house, the stars actually look silver, which I'm quite happy with. They're like a silvery white, so I'm quite happy with that being visible from the front, and then gold on the back. There will be some gold added to the front of the white house with some numbers and with the little gold wreath that I'm planning on stamping for the top of the house. So before I do any more, I'm going to add those plain pieces of acetate on the side of the white house. So I'm just adhering them in on the back. I'm just lining it up with my page protector so that the house is centered on the page protector, but those pieces of acetate reach right to the edge where the holes need to be punched. So this will allow it to turn really easily in my album, and because the holes are in acetate, it's going to be nice and strong as well. So there's only one hole being punched in the top part there. You can see it's only a thin piece of acetate there. I just thought it would look a bit strange having this big piece of acetate in the top half. So now I'm adding those layers together. So again, I just use double-sided tape all the way around the inside edges. And I'm now going to punch the holes. And I'm using my power punch. It's a We Are Memory Keepers power punch. And it's really great for going through that thick acetate. So just making sure I'm keeping it lined up with the page protector holes underneath. And pull out those little pieces, and now I have the holes punched, and that can be added to my album anytime. So I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. And just to make it extra strong, I'm actually going to stitch around the outside of the house now. So I'm just grabbing my sewing machine and I'll do that. Okay, so I can trim off those threads on the front and the back. And now I've got the other little roof pieces. So these were also part of the cut file, and it's like that roof line. So I'm just going to, I'm keeping it white on white and red on red. Didn't want to make it too busy because I like my pages to look nice and clean and simple. So I'm just adhering those to the top of each side of the house, and then I'm going to add some more stitching along those pieces as well. Okay, so the stitching is now done. It did turn out a little messy on the back, which is quite visible on the red side, but I like that it adds that handmade feel to this project. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and now I'm going to add my numbers to the front, and I love these gold foil numbers. They're from Felicity Jane, and I'm adhering those with some tiny glue dots. And these other gold pieces I'm going to add to the top of the red side of the house. So I've got a little gold star there, and then I've got the word joy, which is from this Merry Days pack. Really pretty, all those things, but I thought it would be perfect just at the top of this side of the house. So that's on there now, and all I need to do is add the wreath. So it does look quite okay with that green and red wreath on the top, but I just really want to have that shimmery gold on that house. So I'm going to go ahead now and create a little gold wreath. So I'm using those Merry stamps, the smaller wreath in that stamp set, and I'm using my Versamark ink pad. I just use my little static pillow anti-static pillow to rub over there first before I stamped it. I've got my gold embossing powder on there, tapping off the excess. All that excess can go back in the jar, and then I'll grab my heat tool and watch the magic. So it takes a few seconds to warm up, and then you see that transformation into that shimmery gold. So there you go, you can see that happening there now. So I'm just going to hand cut this one. So I'm just going to grab my sharp little scissors and I'll cut right around the outside and around the inside as well. It was a little bit fiddly, but I'm happy with how it turns out. So there you go, all done, and I've got some little foam dots on the back as well for a little bit of dimension. So I'm just going to stick that one down now on the top part of the house there, and then I'm going to add a little gold star on the center of that. And my little house page is now done, so I can move on to the other side of this spread, which is the pocket page side. So as you can see, I've got those other pieces already in the pockets, and I want to add some stamping to the top of this journaling card. So I've just rubbed it over with my anti-static pad. And first of all, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping and embossing with gold again. So I'm just stamping that on there. This one says all is calm, all is bright. So now I can heat it up with the heat tool. Always a fun part of embossing and stamping. My favourite part. Okay, so that is now done. Now I'm switching over to the words "'Tis the Season," and I'm using archival ink Carnation Red for this. So I'm stamping that across the top, and when I've stamped it, I'm actually not happy with how far apart the two stamped lines are. So I end up re-stamping it off camera, and I'm just going to stamp it and cut it out, and then I'm going to add it as a strip across the top so that the other stamped part that I've done there will be covered, and then I'll add some stitching to that as well. So you can see there I've got that other piece, and it's stamped a lot closer together. It just looks a lot better. So I'm happier with that stamped piece now, and I'm going to cover up the old stamped area, and then I'll add some stitching. So that is done now, and I also added stitching around the outside of that other card as well. So they can be added into the pocket now, and just as a finishing touch I'm going to add another little gold star to the top of the tree in my photo. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how this one has come together. I'll leave you with some close-up photos at the end. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll pop a link down below to Kerri Bradford Studio. I'll be back again really soon with more to share. Enjoy your December documenting. Bye for now.